Delayed. That is a word that every admiral dreads hearing when they are waiting for fresh orders. Hello Admirals, Mr. Boonall here from Mr. Boonall Gaming, and welcome back to the bridge of Task Force Admiral. It's been about a month since our last sit-rep, and I made a promise to you, my generals, that I would keep a weathered eye on the roadmap. Well, the news just came down from the devs, and the big scenario update that we are all looking forward to, it's been hit with a major delay. But before you abandon ship, you need to hear why. The devs at Dry Dock Dreams say that 3 times fast. The devs at Dry Dock Dreams, Dry Dock Dreams. The devs at Dry Dock Dreams, Dry Dock Dreams, Dry Dock Dreams.
Get on with it.
The devs at Dry Dock Dreams are talking about load-bearing walls, and if those walls aren't stable, the whole simulation collapses.
I wouldn't take it down if I were you. It's a load-bearing poster.
Today we're diving deep into the honest, gritty response behind this delay, reviewing the massive technical overhauls that did make it into the latest patches, and looking at the gorgeous new IGN Pagoda assets hitting the slipway. If you are ready to see why delay might actually be the best thing for the game, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and join Mr. Boonall Gaming Empire. We're growing fast and every single one of you makes the fleet stronger. Now, let's talk about those missing walls. Now, Admirals, let's get into the guts of this. The Task Force Admiral team released a candid word to the community, and they aren't hiding behind PR speak. They've been grinding. Cold coffee, 18-hour days.
My brain! My hot, stinging brain!
Eyes are probably bleeding from staring at code. They told us straight up, the 3 scenarios we've been waiting for aren't here because they are missing what they call load-bearing walls. They quoted it perfectly in the dev diary. A scenario that fires and produces a result is not necessarily a scenario that is worth playing. This took me back when I was recording this, guys. I had to double check that they said this in there, and they did. And I really dig this because they are correct, and I actually kind of feel like this is how the game is that I am able to fire, I'm able to hit ships, but I'm feeling a little bit hollow in the actual game. So I'm glad they're addressing that. Multi-axis AI threats and surface engagement mechanics for coastal guns. Basically, the foundation isn't stable enough to hold the weight of the new content yet. Now, if we are being generous here and we are taking the pro dev side, I do have to say that I respect their honesty and their bluntness. They're not hiding things. They came out and said it's not working. They said they need more time. And I would rather have something that works and is fun than something that's broken. I completely agree with them that if they were to produce something broken and not even close to the right standard, that would be detrimental to their brand name. So I completely understand that.
You right to jail.
We've seen AAA studios release broken games, and some of these companies are still pushing along just by the sheer weight of who they are, but they have taken huge hits to their reputation. So I completely understand Dry Dock devs' perspective here. I also, like I said, really like their concept of the hollow game. I feel the game is a little bit hollow right now. Sending sorties, bombing the ships, and getting a point schedule. There needs to be a little bit more, in my opinion, for the game. So I'm glad that that's being addressed directly. However, looking at the other side, the consumer side, the gamer side, we have to be honest that they do have a $25 or $30 early access game out on Steam for sale. And if I'm honest with myself, where I'm essentially playing the demo with with one extra scenario, the Midway. And Midway is great. I actually like the islands. I like how there's islands there. You can take off from the islands. I like how the bombers hit the islands. I don't think I've actually seen any of the Liberators drop a bomb yet, but that might just be me. But for the past 2-3 months, I've played Coral Sea and Midway quite a bit of time. So I was really looking forward to some more content to review for you guys, to play myself, and it's not here. So, I agree that we don't want them shipping out bad products. I agree that that would hurt their reputation. I agree we want a good, solid game and that they should take their time to do that. I also agree that I paid $25.
What could it cost? $10?
They had a clear roadmap. Me buying day of launch was part of that roadmap, was knowing that the roadmap was there and that there'd be new content coming. So that is a bit of a gut punch. Now, I've coined a term here for Task Force Admiral and Battle Plan and other games that are very much in the strategy genre versus more tactical. And I call it the set it and forget it type of game. And I mean that in a good way and a bad way. It depends on your perspective. This game, Task Force Admiral, is arguably one of the most cinematic war games ever made. It is a beautiful looking game. The Unreal Engine just looks beautiful. The lighting, the reflection off the water, the, the weathered paint on the planes, the bullet holes. The guys look a little bit weird, but that's not a big deal. It is really, really a cinematic game. You spend your time on the bridge, you pore over the maps, you issue your orders, and then, well, you watch the history unfold. It's a visual masterpiece. But here's the problem. Admirals, right now we only have 2 scenes to watch. In an early access launch, I'm not expecting the whole movie, but I want at least the first act. I want to feel the momentum of the war. And that the scenarios are kind of in the middle there. You don't have the intro to the war, you don't have the end of the war. It's kind of a middle section. It's lacking. I want it to be good, but I am feeling the lack of content. And to be even more honest and candid, once they do release that new set of scenarios, I'm kind of wondering if that's even going to be enough because of the set it and forget it nature.
It's easy, folks.
So simple. Isn't it, you guys? Isn't it simple?
Finding out where the enemy navy is and then attacking and defending against their attacks as well, and then scheduling the waves and managing all the ins and outs of scheduling those waves and moving your ships and fending off the attacks. That's going to be basically the same in each of the scenarios, just where the location is, right? So again, what I kind of really would love to see is a more campaign mode, a more story-based narrative where you maybe see Pearl Harbor happen and you ship off on your ships and you have 2 weeks to go from San Diego or from Pearl to Guadalcanal, and whatever happens in between happens. Maybe you don't spot the enemy at all, or maybe you spot them indirectly, or maybe they spot you and they're chasing you. I think that's kind of what the game needs from me. It needs really kind of a goal other than just locate the enemy and launch a couple sorties. So, Admirals, I agree with the devs that we shouldn't be shipping broken code, but the clock is ticking. We need more than just a polished midway. We need a war to fight. While we wait for those load bearing walls to go up, let's take a look at the retrofit that they did give us, because there are some massive technical wins in these patches that we need to discuss.
Heads up, green deck, land aircraft.
But look, Admirals, just because the new scenarios are in the dry dock doesn't mean the team has been idle. Far from it. While we wait for those load-bearing walls to go up, the devs have been plugging the holes in the current build. They've pushed some massive logic fixes that change how the game feels when the lead starts flying. This isn't just window dressing, this is fixing the foundations. First up, let's talk about the scheduling bug. We've all been there. You're trying to coordinate a massive multi-carrier strike. You're pulling planes out of storage, reassigning them, trying to be the ultimate tactician, and then the game just breaks. The devs called this a proper edge case, but it was a nasty one. Basically, the system wasn't checking if a plane was already spoken for by an upcoming mission before you assigned it to a new one. The result? Phantom assignments that broke strike packages. The dev diary said it best, and I quote, "It is exactly the kind of bug that only surfaces when you are doing 3 things at once, which, in a serious game, is more or less constantly." End quote. So now this is kind of part of that set it and forget it piece I was talking about.
Follow all instructions and you set it and forget it. Set it and forget it. Set it and forget it.
You would set things, you'd forget it, and then all of a sudden things weren't working, things were getting broken, you couldn't trust the orders, and that cinematic payoff just never happened. Hopefully, there are no more of those phantom strikes going out, ruining your day. Next, and this is a huge one for survivability, we have what I'm calling the Nagumo fix. Previously, the damage code was way too sensitive. You'd have a carrier with a tiny 100-pound glancing blow, or even just a near miss, and the game would lock down your flight deck entirely. The devs admitted that players were grounded as if the ship had just taken a Nagumo style funeral pyre to the face. They've recalibrated the damage thresholds. Now your carriers can take a hit, shake it off, and keep the air group in the fight. This also affects the AI, so expect the Japanese strike force back more regularly now. The set it and forget it just got a lot more dangerous because those ships on both sides are much harder to put down with a lucky shot. And for my fellow history buffs, they finally addressed a long-standing issue with the US fighter doctrine. In previous builds, we were seeing some weird formations that didn't quite match the history books. Well, the basic tactical unit for US Navy fighters has been officially changed to a two-craft section. This is the 1942 reality. It's the foundation for things like the thatch weave, looks better, it flies better, and it finally removes those individual opinions the ships and planes used to have during maneuvers. One small but Bunal approved change, we finally have a repair countdown in the damage panel. So no more guessing when your rudders or elevators are coming back online. In a game where every second counts, knowing exactly when your ship is functional again changes how you plan your next move. It's all about giving us tools to be better admirals. All right, admirals, that wraps up our look at the state of the fleet. We've broken down the load-bearing delay, we've looked at the massive technical refits, and we've seen the incredible work being done on those IGN pagoda masts. There is no denying it. Task Force Admiral is a cinematic masterpiece. When you are on that bridge and you watch a 500-pound bomb smash into the carrier deck, it is beyond beautiful and terrifying. It's the kind of visual payoff we've been waiting for years in a naval sim. It looks real, it looks awesome. I can't say that enough. But I have to be honest with you, I am still torn. The devs themselves brought up that word hollow in their diary, and it's been sticking with me. My whole set it and forget it concept, it's starting to feel even thinner than before. It's one thing to watch a masterpiece, it's another thing to live in it. I'm starting to think that even more one-off scenarios aren't the answer. Do you agree? Do we need a full-blown campaign mode?
Well, duh.
I'm talking about a theater of war where you're out searching for the Japanese fleet for days, where you have to limp back to port for repairs, resupply our ammo, and actually manage resources across a series of battles. I want to feel the weight of every lost pilot. I want to set it and forget it to have stakes that last longer than 30 minutes. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I promised you all a month ago that I would follow this roadmap to the letter, and I'm keeping that promise. I'll be here to inform you the second the next update hits the slipway. If you're out there playing Task Force Admiral, or if you just enjoyed the breakdown, please consider liking this video and subscribing to Mr. Bunal Gaming. We are a new channel, we are building an empire, and every single one of you out there helps us grow. Until next time, Admirals, I will see you on the high seas.